our perspective can impact the way we look at a thing and ultimately what we're able to do with it. So perspective was huge. And so I would share with people that regardless of what it is or where you are in life, in business, never underestimate the power of perspective.
I'm Junaid Ahmed, host of Hacks and Hobbies podcast and a digital presence advisor at HumbleZone. This episode is brought to you by Home Studio Mastery. I launched a consultation and course program to help podcasters and course creators to create a space in their homes that will reduce the friction of creating content and appearing their best when showing up on camera. The pandemic gave us a lot of issues, but this one is here to stay. We're now so much closer to our audience thanks to video becoming more popular and affordable. I help guide folks who want to create Hollywood-worthy studios to not only capture great content, but also build more confidence, more authority, and be more comfortable in front of the camera. If I can do it, you can too. And with my help, you can do it faster. So if you'd like to learn more, visit homestudiomastery.com and how you too can create a home studio that brings out your personality, professionalism, and possibilities. Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. We're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life who want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around.
Coach AM shared his inspiring story of survival and how it led him to become a breakthrough performance coach and strategist. He talked about the importance of having a strong foundation and mindset and how faith played a major role in his life. Coach AM believes that success begins with the mindset and that everything that impacts our life externally begins from within. He also discussed the significance of being a leader and a team builder and how it is important to provide support to the team members so that they can be their best and achieve their best. Finally, he talked about the beauty of imparting value to others and how it can significantly change a business and improve people's lives. Coach, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So let's take a walk down memory lane and share a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and where you going.
So for me, everything goes back to the year 2000. I went into the hospital and my doctors, after several long hours of testing, told me I had cysts on my spine and they could burst and be deadly. So they needed to operate on me immediately. And so I ended up having a surgery in which they found two cysts on my spine, one on the outside and one on the internal spinal column. They were removed the one on the outside and put a shunt on the one on the inside. Yet that shunt would come out, and then I had to have a second surgery to replace it. And that one basically went through that surgery. Two things happened. They had to pull out so much muscle scar tissue that I ended up having a condition of incomplete paraplegia, which basically means extreme weakness in the legs. And two, I ended up contracting one of the most deadliest staph infections known to man in the operating room. So double whammy on that one. But the great thing about it is that it put me on a path and orientations of things that I never knew existed, on a path that I never knew much about. And I ended up finding myself staying in ICUs, CCUs, acute care facilities. I've stayed in 3 nursing homes. And here I was, 27, 28 years of age, and I'm in a nursing home. And so all of that put me on this path to say, you know what is all of this for? I'm taking 14 different medications. And, I was just completely deflated in life. And I had gotten to the point where my doctor had told me, he's like, listen, if we don't do something quick, like you'll be dead in 10 days. And so he gave me a 10-day death sentence. And at that point, I didn't get fearful. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't really get fearful. I just kind of like made it my point. It's like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to leave it all on the table, or in that case, all in the bed. And from my hospital bed, I started creating content to put into a podcast to empower, motivate, encourage, inspire other people. I was thinking about other people. I wasn't thinking about me. And I was doing that. And before I knew it, my expiration, so-called 10-day death sentence, was 20 days overdue. And so I just kept doing. I had something that was working, and I just kept doing it. And in the process of doing that, what ended up taking place was I ended up landing my first client, a coaching client, from the hospital in a hospital bed. And my business started right there. And here I am, 2022, that many more years later. And I grew a sustainable six-figure business, multi-six-figure business. I ended up going back to school, got several degrees, became a best-selling author, and it's been an amazing road for me. But that's literally what got me to this place and started my business and helping, being a breakthrough performance coach and strategist.
That is some story, Coach. I totally appreciate you sharing that with us. And it just blows my mind when you're presented an end of life expiration, like you mentioned, 10 days expiration. Your mind takes, it has to be the motivation or the inspiration that raised you to be that person, to, instead of being woe is me, you're like, hey, what can I give back to the society? What can I tell people, and how to overcome something so deadly? I mean,
Hmm.
that goes to show that your parents raised you right. That goes to show that the people that you were around were positive mind thinkers. I'm sure there's a lot there that we haven't touched on.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that faith played a major role. And I was fortunate enough where my parents, they taught me the importance of having, a relationship with God, connecting spiritually, understanding that there's something in your, there's an entity of your life. There's an entity that actually is so much bigger than you. There's a purpose that you've been called to that's so much bigger than you. And so never make it about you.
Hmm.
And when that in my most deepest moments are my most challenged moments, in those moments of despair, that's the thing I gravitated towards. That was the thing that came up for me in that period of time, and it changed everything. And so I'm very grateful for that, being instilled in me.
Hey, I love what you shared. It's a lot. It's a lot to take into effect when somebody presents you that kind of sentence, that kind of, hey, this is where you're going to be in the next 10 days. But then having that foundation built into us. And I think that's, a lot of people are lacking that foundation, that support from either their community, either their parents, either, it's just something we cannot control, but really grateful to have a lot of.
As it's everything. I tell people, it all begins, success begins with the mindset. Everything that really impacts our life externally all begins from within. And, it's not so much about what you've gone through in life or even what you're going through,
Mhm.
as much as it is about how you respond to it. And our response comes from what's inside of us. So if we don't have, if our with what's going on inside of our inner game, inside of our mindset, the way we think about ourselves, the way we feel about ourselves is off, then our response will be off as well. And so I'm just fortunate enough to have had, a strong foundation, as you put it, internally, and that strengthened my inner game. That when I was at my darkest moment, it activated and kicked in, got me through one of the most difficult times of my life.
Wow. So you've been coaching for the past few decades, or a couple of decades
Yeah.
for sure. And what's been inspiring for you to keep coming back in coaching? Because obviously you dodged a bullet there. And obviously people are like, wow, if you were able to keep a positive mindset, I need some of that. So how did that continue to grow?
Well, what I came to realize from that moment is that, what was going on in my life was so much bigger than me. If it was about me, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
If it stopped with me, I wouldn't be here. But the amazing thing about life is that we're all here for something bigger than us, others. We're here for others. Well, what's in us is designed to take us to our next level,
Mm-hmm.
us to achieve the greater thing that is going on inside. So, that is the biggest piece. That is the biggest piece for us in life to capture and to remember. That is something bigger going on inside of us at all
Yeah.
times.
Now, it's a lot harder for some people. Let's say they're going through a storm and they don't know where to turn. What are some of the advice that you would share with them, and to, to tell them that, hey, there's light at the end of this tunnel?
Well, to understand, number one, it all goes back to you, the individual. It's not about you. It's about what's in you.
Mm,
And what's in all of us is greatness. What's in all of us is hardwired into who we are the attributes, the traits, and things that are needed to keep us operational, to keep us functioning, regardless of what happens. I mean, I incurred a condition of incomplete paraplegia. There are some people that are paraplegic, quadriplegic, and my condition does not differ much from a paraplegic in the sense that I do have to, transport in a wheelchair and things of that nature, but I do have the ability to know that I will walk again. Most,
mm,
paraplegics, they don't have that.
right.
And so what I'm sharing is that we can go through very trying times and things in life. Um, but being able to understand that you're here for a purpose, a
Yeah.
divine purpose. There is something so much bigger inside of you. And as we begin to gravitate towards that, life becomes so much more meaningful. You ask me why do I still keep coaching? Why do I still keep doing these things? Because
Mm-hmm.
I know that my work is about more than me. My work is not about me. My work is about the person I'm sitting in front of. My work is about the person that says, "Am I need help,
Mm-hmm.
coach? I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling trapped inside my business. How can I move myself forward?"
Yeah.
And I that's what I approach it. I have this approach to business and life that says, you know what, impact or excuse. You decide which one are you going to do. And it's I've been told it's a very no BS approach to things, but the way I look at it is like life is serious.
Yeah.
Like life is, life is serious, and how we choose to operate in life is everything.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, man. It's really cool to see that journey, and where, all the milestones that you hit, being able to help thousands of people better have better lives, and you've been creating that value for the people that touch, that that you connect, come in contact with. It's really awesome to see.
Yes. Because God be the glory, man. I am so aware. I think that's the word we want to use, like aware that
Mm,
there is something so much bigger going on. Just like you and this amazing podcast. It's like that there has to be times where you're like, man, I don't want to do this.
mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what, I don't feel like this today, or I don't I don't feel like I'm up to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's that purpose in you that says, no, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to step up. Like I owe it to the world
Yeah.
that if I possess something that adds value to other people, I consider it a moral obligation to have
Yeah.
to, to share it with others so that they can improve and be better.
That's really beautifully put. And one of the things that you mentioned, sometimes we might not feel like doing the thing, but we still have to do it because there's other people expecting us to deliver that knowledge, to deliver that message. But then also sometimes what you can do to make it easy for yourself is to build systems and have teams around you that can support you in a much bigger way. Now you've got cheerleaders. Now you've got people that are like, hey, Junaid, you got it. It's just an hour of a recording. It's just, you're gonna learn something so valuable that you didn't even think about learning on this episode. So there's a ton that we can do as well.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's true. But the dynamic of being a leader and a team builder is so important, that you have to be able to understand that even as the leader in the organization, you're serving. You're serving your
Mhm.
team. You're
Yeah.
serving each individual, and you are providing them the support that they need so that they can be their best
Yeah.
and achieve their best and do what it is that they have to do. That they need to make themselves better and you as the organization a lot better. So yeah, it is a beautiful thing to be able to lead people. It is a pleasure, it's a privilege, and not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
But or nor should they, was based upon the way they're thinking. However, but it is a beautiful thing to be able to provide something of significance and of value to other people. And that is a big piece, a very big piece indeed.
Indeed it is. As we grow our mindset, as we grow our influence, as we grow our personality, right? We tend to attract people that not only want to be around us, but also showcase our abilities that we don't see ourselves. I think that's another reason why we keep coming back as leaders to share what we know.
Yeah, I think a great word here to contribute to the value conversation is impart. We are constantly imparting us
Mm,
into other people. The way we think, the way we approach, the business of people, the
yeah,
way we approach, strategy, perspective. Everybody, like again, to have the awesome opportunity to lead others, not by title, but by influence, but by
mhm,
persuasion. Um, when people they see something about you that they want to be a part of, I want to contribute to that. I want to be a part of what it is that you're doing. It can significantly change a business and move it in a direction that um, moving in a direction where people can improve exponentially, reach their highest levels, function from their highest ability,
mhm,
and achieve their highest aim. And that within itself is like the beauty of the opportunity to provide a job, to provide something of a business that can really
yeah,
take a person to that next place. It is significant. Um, and I absolutely love that. I love the ability to be able to pour into another person, to to give them something that would be of great value on their path going forward. Uh, and to see them take it and take flight,
yeah,
and do some amazing things. To do some amazing things. I've had the pleasure of working with people to see them now, start their own ventures and achieve and do things that they thought they never would do. Open their
mhm,
mouth and quote the price they never thought they would charge
yeah,
for their
yeah,
services. Um, I get so much out of that. Just helping people to really develop their wings and take flight. it is one of the most beautiful things that you can accomplish in a leader is to see a person come into their own and take flight and achieve.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that.
Man, I love that too. Coach, Coach AM, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, Coach AM is gonna share 3 hacks to take away. So stick around, we'll be right back.
I'm Junaid Ahmed, host of Hacks and Hobbies podcast and a digital presence advisor at HumbleZone. This episode is brought to you by Home Studio Mastery. I launched a consultation and course program to help podcasters and course creators to create a space in their homes that will reduce the friction of creating content and appearing their best when showing up on camera. The pandemic gave us a lot of issues, but this one is here to stay. We're now so much closer to our audience thanks to video becoming more popular and affordable. I help guide folks who want to create Hollywood-worthy studios to not only capture great content, but also build more confidence, more authority, and be more comfortable in front of the camera. If I can do it, you can too. And with my help, you can do it faster. So if you'd like to learn more, visit homestudiomastery.com and how you too can create a home studio that brings out your personality, professionalism, and possibilities.
Welcome back, guys. We have been speaking with Coach AM Williams. He's an amazing coach for the past couple of decades, and he's got a few hacks, 3 hacks to take away so that you can apply it in your lives.
So when I was going through my journey, I remember being significantly discouraged, and I was making everything I was going through about me. Why me? Why did I have to go through this? Why this and that? Friday, I was mad with people who didn't come see me in the hospital. I was mad at God. I was mad at the world. I was mad at everything because I just did not believe I deserved anything I was going through. And in that period of time, I remember clearly hearing God tell me something in your life can be leveraged to create something you want. So that was one of the biggest things that really stuck out to me when I changed my perspective. I changed my perspective and said, you know what? I could have easily accepted this doctor's diagnosis and given up, but I wasn't ready to give up.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed my perspective, and perspective lives and breathes in the subconscious mind. It's how we look at a thing, our perspective can impact the way we look at a thing, and ultimately what we're able to do with it. So perspective was huge, and so I would share with people that regardless of what it is or where you are in life, in business, never underestimate the power of perspective. If you are finding yourself perpetually going through or feeling stuck or anything else, like, the first thing you should do is reevaluate your perspective. Reevaluate your perspective. The second thing I would say is that you should just play full out. And whatever it is, commit to it, go 100%. In fact, there's a maxim that says, find something you love and you'll never work another day in your life. If you find something you love and you do it, you'll never work another day in your life. Well, here's the thing. It's really about looking at it from the standpoint of opportunity. When I was given a 10-day death sentence, what I was given was an opportunity. I was given the ability to say, okay, I'm going to play full out, or I'm just going to give up. And I made the decision that I'm going to leave it all on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And for the listener, you too can survive in your business, not just survive, but thrive by making the decision to just simply play full out. Leave the excuses behind. Leave the excuses behind. Man, I had 1,000 reasons to quit, to give up, to not do this. I just didn't find any of them worth taking. I knew there was something more in life. I knew there was something bigger, something better. And I just made the decision that I'm going to act on those things. I'm not going to focus on the 1,000 reasons why I could quit and give up.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, it was really just all about playing, not just playing full out, but just executing, taking imperfect action, not waiting on everything to be perfect, not waiting on everything to be lined up, not waiting on, everything to fall in line, all the
Yeah.
stars align and all of that. Oh man, when I get smart enough, when I get enough degrees, when I have enough money, all of these things that we tell ourselves that we have to have in order for us to take action. Be willing to take imperfect action. Be willing to do that, because your greatest adversary, your greatest asset is often your adversity.
Yeah.
Your greatest, it's always that. So if you be willing to take imperfect action, you will perfect it. You will get better at it, and before you know it, you'll be doing things at a level you never thought you could with effortless excellence. It'll be like second nature to you to do it. But don't be afraid to take imperfect action. So I guess my three things is like, one, you know, always make the decision, always be smart enough to evaluate your perspective. And if things are not going away, revisit and reevaluate your perspective. Number two, just be willing to play full out. Leave your excuses behind. Go all in. If you can't go all in on it, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
And then lastly, don't be afraid to execute with imperfect action. Like, just take imperfect action and give yourself the ability to learn. Much of the development that we're looking for before we take action is actually found on the path. That's why they say success is not a destination, it's a journey. It's what you become along the way. So be willing to take imperfect action and discover the things that you need to get better and achieve more and more of what it is that you want. So,
Man,
those will be my three pieces.
I love all of that. That's so awesome. Always be smart enough to evaluate your perspective. Go all out, full out, because if you don't, what are you even trying doing it? And don't be afraid to execute without imperfect action.
Yeah, just like take imperfect action. Just do it. Just don't, take imperfect action. I will say about playing full out, when I say play full out, like, please understand, you're talking to somebody who was once told he had 10 days to live.
Yeah.
So the only mode I know is to play full out in life and leave nothing on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Leave nothing on the table.
Yeah.
Leave nothing on the table. Play full out and leave nothing on the table. Go all in. Push the chips to the center every time. Just go all in on life and leave nothing on the table. It will change your world to do that.
I love that. There's a lot of books that talk about the one thing, focus on one thing at a time. Do 20% of your actions, account for 80% of your income. It all goes back to, going full out and going all out on those things that we're passionate about, on those things that bring us so much joy. So thank you so much for sharing. I totally love that. Let's jump into
My pleasure.
quick questions. Yeah. Let's jump into quick questions I like to ask my guests. Number one, what is the one hobby that you wish you got into?
Oh man, the one hobby I wish I would have got into was cooking. I love the art of cooking. When you see a chef, someone who's like really skilled at what they're doing and how they put together things and create such an amazing. I literally marvel when my wife does this, and I'm like, how, it's so exciting. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, how did you create that? The business of creating something so powerful and making it, to being able to manipulate the taste or, the texture or whatever. It's like one of the epitomes of creating.
Yeah,
is cooking, just to taking on the art of cooking is amazing.
No, I love that. Cooking is something that I wish I could do a little more of. I know it's not, it takes a lot of practice, but as in life, everything takes a lot of practice. So
Yeah, that's what everything we do, right? It's like, doesn't matter what it is, but your ability to do something that's like, okay, what can I pour myself into that's not about my business? That's
mm,
not about the main thing that so
yeah.
that when I am encountering frustrations and things in the business, I have a healthy alternative.
Mm,
I can pivot and play full out in something
and
else.
something
You know
else
that
as well.
that
Yeah.
is a very powerful piece to be able to have.
Oh,
And so again, like when it comes to life, leave nothing on the table.
yeah. I love that. I love that analogy because, and that's why I like to focus on the little hobbies. You
Yeah.
know, if something I'm working on is not, I'm not able to put 100%, I'm gonna go, either build a box or, tend to my bees or, go cycling or go play with my kids all out so that my mind can then relax. And then when I come back to this, I'm going to be full 100% and be able to
Yeah.
deliver, be more productive than if I just stayed in the rut.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
Beautiful.
Next question. What did you want to be when you were a child?
A grown up.
Okay.
I wanted to be a grown up, right?
Yeah.
And now that I'm a grown up, guess what I want to be? Just take a
You want to
wild guess what I want to be.
be, you want to be a child.
A child.
Amen.
Um, yeah, man. It was no, but I can say that I sit now and observe like the creative nature that I had as a child.
Mm,
And man, to get that creative, that playfulness, that curiosity, to have that as an adult is priceless.
yeah, it is.
And it's like, man, boy, what could you do if you had that, today? Like, how awesome would that be?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I love it. Next question. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, man. Um, my favorite movie series is The Godfather.
Mm.
I
Oh yeah.
I watched that movie and um my wife is like she won't look at it with me. But I'm like, I don't know why you won't look at it. This is like the greatest movie about family
Uh-huh.
that you'll see. She's like, how do you get family out of all that? I'm like, it's
It's
all
all
about
about the
family.
family.
It's all about family. So like I
Yeah.
absolutely love The Godfather. I watched one, two, and three. I love one and two.
Hmm.
Because I love the origins,
Yeah,
you
the
know.
origins.
But the that's man, I could sit and binge watch that. I can take a whole Saturday. In fact, I have. I've taken friends of mine. We did a whole Saturday,
Nice.
cookout and all that, and we just sat and watched the Godfather
Nice.
trilogy. Like, and it was like crazy that we did that, but we did it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You
beautiful.
got you gotta add those creative because they went through so much creativity to be able to even create that story and create that timeline. I mean, yeah, it's beautifully set in time.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love it.
On that note, what movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
Woo. I don't. I mean, again, I don't want to say The Godfather because everybody got killed. Um, but I would have victorious movies. I think Men of Honor. You remember
Mm,
Cuba Gooding Jr. in that
yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah. Men of
and
Honor.
and how he regained the ability to walk and become a master diver. I love movies like that.
Mm,
And where the guy he goes through extreme adversity and finds a way to navigate it and ultimately achieve his goal. That would be my piece.
I love it. That's so on what's that word? That's so on brand for you because you just mentioned earlier your greatest asset is your adversary.
Adversity,
Love that.
yeah, that's it. Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, he said, every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. And
Mm,
so when people, when they ask me, how did you overcome so much adversity and all that? I'm like, well, here's a real wake up call. There's
yeah.
some adversity that you never overcome. There's certain adversity that's going to be in your face every single day. And
Yeah.
so it's really not about mastering overcoming it. The mastery is in learning how to dance with it.
Yeah.
It's
I
learning how
love
to
it.
dance with it so that you can get the seed of the equivalent advantage, that you can get the gift that the
Yeah.
adversity is there to give you. There's certain things that adversity gives you that pleasantries don't give you. There's certain things that rainy days give you that sun
Hmm.
doesn't. There's certain
Yes.
things that hard times give you that easy street does not give you.
No, that's so,
And
so
and
true.
and even in working out, if you never
Hmm.
have resistance, you can't develop, you can't grow, you can't,
Yeah.
so there's a gift in adversity, and I absolutely love, having that because it makes you stronger.
Man, that's so beautiful. I love it. So on the next on question, who is your favorite superhero?
Oh man. I don't really have a main favorite superhero. I think that if there be anybody, I would say that too. And I know this is going to sound real arrogant and conceited, but like, man, I would have to say, I'd have to say me.
Hmm.
Because when I stop for a moment, we don't often do this, but when you stop and you just look back and reflect on the things that you've accomplished and the things that you've done, and man, I've had some serious traumatic moments in my life,
Hmm.
and to see how God has brought me through it, if there be anyone, I would have to say,
Yeah.
it would be my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and what he does in my life.
Hmm.
That's the superhero, in it all, and how he's done it through my life has been
Yeah.
powerful. So for me, that's what it would be.
Man, I totally love that. That's so true. And one of the reasons I like that question about superheroes is because there's a lot of depth into the stories that they tell, they create. For example, the story of Iron Man and how he was so arrogant. He's running this, and then you see the entire arc of his life just flash in front of you, and now he's given up his life to save an entire universe. It was pretty amazing.
You make a very interesting point when you say that, because every great superhero
Hmm.
had a flaw that got in the way at some point of
Yeah.
time, got in the way. And as so that's the humanistic part of it all,
Yes.
and we all have that superhero thing in us,
Hmm.
but we have to be able to understand how that works in contrast to the flaws. Yeah, you can leap a tall building,
Hmm.
okay? Yet who you are is a very clumsy person,
Yeah.
in reporting.
Yeah.
Okay. You may be able to do this amazing thing here, but maybe you're bad at communicating in relationships.
Hmm.
We all have that thing
Yeah.
about us. And when we can begin to embrace who we truly are, I think we all become our own greatest
Amen.
superheroes.
100%. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that answer. All right, last question. If you were a board game, what would it be?
There's so many that comes to my mind right now, but I would if I was a board game, the first thing I want to say is Monopoly.
Hmm.
That would be the thing, because like there's so much risk and chance,
Yeah.
so much to gain, so much to lose.
Yeah.
And I've gone through enough in life to be able to understand the power of it all.
Nice. I love that so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach AM, for your time, your energy, your wisdom, and sharing the 3 hacks. Totally appreciate that. Where can my superpreneurs find you?
Well, what I would encourage them to do, First of all, if you feel like there's something that's holding you back or that you're trying to get a better grasp on in your life or in your business, then I would invite them to come and go check out aybsworkshop.com. aybsworkshop.com. AYBS stands for Address Your BS. And we that's where we address the whole dynamic of who we are internally. So it's an internal assessment of self, but it's also a pivot in strategy. It's a pivot in strategy that will allow you to achieve breakthrough performance in life, breakthrough performance in business. So aybsworkshop.com is a great place to go check that out. And we're having a workshop coming up October 26th to the 28th. So please go check that out, register for the upcoming workshop, and would love to have them there, to be there. And let's help you get rid of that thing that's holding you back, step into it and step in your own superpower and grow your business to the next level.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And we'll be sure to include the links to aybsworkshop.com in the show notes. Thank you again for your time.
A pleasure.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for listening to our guest on this episode. Please send me an email at junaid@hacksandhobbies.com to tell me what you loved about our guest today. You could find links mentioned in this episode on the hacksandhobbies.com website.